Congress tonight was going to have to vote on that as well. Republican Senator Mike Rounds of South Dakota joins me now. And Senator, it's great to have you here. Thank you for your time. What's your view first on the news tonight that Trump has picked Pam Bondi as his next pick for Attorney General?
My first impression was that it was a good pick. You've got an individual who has experience as a prosecutor and was an attorney general in Florida. Those are good signs. I think he trusts her. I think he would feel comfortable with her as the attorney general. So, yeah, I think this is one of those things where the president has the opportunity to make the choices for his cabinet. This is a good choice, in my opinion, but once again, she'll have to do the same thing that everybody else does, which is to work her way through the process. We'll ask her questions. She'll meet with each member. She'll start with the Judiciary Committee probably. And as she moves forward to the floor, presumably it would be after she's had an opportunity to meet with a lot of other members as well on both sides of the aisle.
Yeah. Do you believe she's more confirmable in your view?
I do not believe that she is problematic. I did express earlier that I thought his previous choice would be problematic. And so I don't think she has near the challenges that he would have had. So, yeah, I think this is the right thing. And, you know, this is one of those cases where the president wants someone who he can work with, who he can trust, but he also wants someone who understands very clearly what the department should be doing. And he may very well want to express his desire to make major changes in the department. And you want someone who has prosecutorial experience along with the experience of actually being an attorney general. And, you know, the state of Florida is a big state, so she's got some good experience behind her as well.
Yeah. Do you have any concerns? Because as you noted, yes, your record is completely scrutinized. Anyone who signs up as a nominee is expecting that for everything. We've seen, you know, that run the gamut. Do you have any concerns about her efforts to help with the 2020 election lies when it came to filing those baseless lawsuits? She appeared with Rudy Giuliani at several stops. Do you have any concerns about that tonight?
I don't think it's a matter of having concerns. It's a matter of doing our due diligence and asking the questions. And as those questions come up, they're going to be brought up by Republicans and Democrats. She'll have to answer them. And you know, look, she'll have to work her way through this process like anybody else. And her responses to this will be made public in most cases. You'll have her also visiting with members within their private offices, and they're going to come back out and tell everybody the way that they feel that she responded to those questions. And this is people from both sides of the aisle. That's the way the process works. So she'll walk in, she'll have the opportunity to have been briefed with regard to what the questions are going to be. The White House team will have worked with her. So she'll come prepared. And the real question will be, does she answer the questions and how does she answer those questions? That's just a part of the process. But, you know, going in, the president has that benefit of the doubt. That's the way it's always worked. And, you know, look, we look forward to meeting her. I've never met her before, but I'm looking forward to doing that.
Well, Senator, on that, there was another pick up on the Hill today, Pete Hegseth, Trump's pick to be the Pentagon chief. Does the sexual assault allegation, which Hegseth has denied, but which was laid out in a 22-page police report today, does that give you any pause about voting to confirm him?
I haven't met him yet. I have not visited with him. And so he kind of falls into the same category as Pam does. This is a case of where the president has the opportunity to make that nomination. He gets the benefit of the doubt. And then I want an opportunity to visit with Pete. I want to visit with him, see what his thoughts are, how he would handle the department. He's going to have to answer those questions with regard to anything that's in his record. And so, yeah, he's going to have to be able to walk on in, sit down, and to visit with people, explain what's going on. And that's the way this process works. We're not going to find people that are going to walk in and nobody's going to ask them questions about their background or anything else that may have been questionable. So all of them know when they walk in, their background is going to be scrutinized, and they're going to have to be prepared to answer those questions. So it'll be interesting to see how each of them respond. And all of that is shared from member to member. So both Republicans and Democrats get to do it. And, you know, they're all going to talk among themselves. We're a lot closer than a lot of people realize up here. And that discussion will go on.
I just asked because I know, you've co-sponsored legislation in the past to deal with sexual assault in the military, as that's been a big issue. I know how important that is to you. So, Senator, we'll see how that process plays out. But I do want to ask you another question, because you introduced legislation tonight to eliminate the Department of Education, something that has been a priority for Donald Trump as well. In your own state, more than 30% of South Dakota's education budget comes from federal funds. So if that happens, can you guarantee that no school in your state will lose funding if the education department is abolished?
Actually, that's the reason why we're actually looking at doing it, and it took us so long to actually put the legislation together. We've been working on this, taking testimony and getting input for about the last year and a half. We did not simply go in and say, let's get rid of the department. What we said was, let's take the bureaucracy out of this process. Let's go back to the basics of what was there before the department ever started. Things such as special education, rather than having the department go through and work it, let's take it back to where it came from in the first place. When it comes to block granting the dollars, we're not going to lose dollars. We're actually going to gain some dollars going back to the states. We'd rather have it be block granted back to the states, to the Indian tribes and so forth. We think that there's a savings involved in actually eliminating the bureaucracy here, but more importantly, rather than having bureaucrats in Washington, D.C. telling local school districts how they've got to do things, we'd rather have the states and local government do the vast majority of the decision making. At the same time, there's a lot of money that flows through. That money will continue to flow through, but we've moved a number of those those programs we want that actually fund a number of those areas, those special ed programs and so forth. We move them back into places such as HHS, or back into, in some cases, the Department of the Interior. We save the dollars here at the bureaucratic level, but we send the money back to the states. The states don't lose the money, but they get to distribute it based on what they think is right at the local level. I think there's a lot of moms and dads out there that will tell you that the way that they had their education, in some cases even before this particular education department was created, was pretty good. We have not seen test scores go up since the department was created, but we have seen a lot of bureaucracy and a lot of demand to the federal government saying, if you want these block grants or you want these grants and so forth, you're going to have to follow a set of criteria that a bureaucrat in Washington, D.C. has asked you to do. We just think that that's unnecessary right now.
Yeah, a lot of different views on that. We'll see how that proceeds going forward. Senator, as always, thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you.
Up next.